You're listening to Beyond the Brief from Molly Zelvenberger, LLC. When legal challenges feel overwhelming, that's why we offer support that truly understands the bigger picture. Each episode, we explore legal complexities and their impact on your well-being, backed by hundreds of hours of thorough legal and mental health research. Join us to discover what's beyond the brief.
Insights that matter. Today, we're diving into something really fascinating and, well, often quite complex: protesting and the law. Our mission here is to explore how the whole legal side of protests connects with the mental well-being of people involved, the individuals and communities taking action. Because standing up for what you believe in, it can feel incredibly empowering, right? But it can also expose people to, well, some pretty significant stressors. Okay, so to really understand this, maybe we should start with the rule book, the legal foundations. In the U.S., you've got the First Amendment. It clearly protects the right to peacefully assemble, especially strong in places like streets, parks, what they call traditional public forums. And internationally, freedom of assembly is, a widely recognized human right. But how does that work in practice?
Yeah, that's where it gets interesting, because you're right. Those rights exist, but they are absolutely not absolute. Governments are allowed to impose what they call narrow restrictions or reasonable limits.
Reasonable limits? Like what?
Well, think about it. If you're organizing a huge rally, maybe using loudspeakers or planning to block traffic, you might need a permit. These are usually subject to time, place, and manner restrictions.
Okay. Time, place, manner.
Exactly. And it creates this really dynamic, sometimes contested space. The boundaries are constantly being negotiated, really.
Right. And pushing those boundaries, that brings us to a really crucial legal point, doesn't it? The difference between, say, protected peaceful protest and civil disobedience.
Yes, a critical distinction.
So peaceful expression, that's protected. But actions like, intentionally blocking a highway without a permit.
That falls into civil disobedience. And the key thing is, that specific action is generally not protected speech.
Meaning?
Meaning if you engage in that, you're looking at almost certain arrest.
And the consequences aren't trivial.
Not at all. You could be facing fines, maybe jail time. And crucially, for non-citizens, an arrest like that can have severe impacts on their immigration status.
Wow. That definitely creates what you called a chilling effect, makes people maybe hesitate.
Absolutely, even if they feel this strong moral pull to act.
Which brings us right to the psychological side of things. Because protest isn't just about laws and permits, is it? It's often driven by this deep personal conviction, a response to perceived injustice. It feels like a moral imperative for many. So what does that kind of intense engagement actually do to someone's mental state?
Well, it's fascinating, actually. There's this real duality in the mental health outcomes. On one hand, you see genuine empowerment. People feel joy, hope, a stronger sense of belonging, of social identity. It can be a productive outlet for anger.
The positive side.
Right. But then there's the other side. It carries significant risks, too. Research shows links to increased depression, anxiety, even PTSD, especially when people are exposed to violence or, forceful police responses, think tear gas, rubber bullets. We saw this in places like Hong Kong or during the Black Lives Matter protests.
That's incredibly serious. And I remember reading something about a community spillover effect. It's not just the protesters affected.
Exactly. The trauma isn't contained. It kind of ripples outwards. We see negative mental health impacts extending to the wider local population, even folks who didn't participate directly.
How does that happen?
Often amplified by graphic media coverage, seeing upsetting images repeatedly. And it's important we also mention law enforcement officers themselves report high rates of depression, burnout, PTSD too. That's often made worse by anti-police sentiments they might face during these events.
That's a really vital perspective. And thinking more about the protesters, you mentioned earlier that even just being arrested can harm mental health. That connects to some difficult history too, right?
It does, yeah. There's the very controversial history of the protest psychosis diagnosis.
Ah, yes. Applied to Black activists back in the mid-20th century.
That's the one. It essentially weaponized a mental health label to justify repression, to control dissent. It wasn't really about health, it was about politics.
And that history must leave a mark.
Oh, absolutely. It creates this deep, lingering mistrust between communities and psychiatric or state institutions. It complicates the whole conversation around mental health and protest even now.
Okay, so we've got this complex picture: legal rights, real risks, significant psychological impacts, historical distrust. What does this all mean for you, the listener? How can people navigate this?
Well, focusing on well-being strategies is just paramount. For individuals, that means active self-care. Things like maybe taking breaks from media, digital detoxes, mindfulness practices, whatever works for them.
And community support.
Crucial. Really crucial. Support groups are helpful. Things like jail solidarity can be a powerful community tactic, too.
Jail solidarity.
Yeah, where arrested protesters might collectively refuse bail or cooperation to pressure the system. Also, community violence intervention programs, using what they call credible messengers, respected local figures, can help de-escalate or offer support.
Okay, so individual care, community support. What about navigating the legal side more strategically?
Number one is knowing your rights. Absolutely fundamental. Like your right to film or photograph police in public, your right to remain silent if questioned.
Basic but essential.
Definitely. And for movements, there are strategic choices. Weighing, disruptive versus non-disruptive tactics. What achieves the goal? What are the risks? And critically important is avoiding violence, not just for safety, which is obvious, but also to maintain public support and occupy the moral high ground.
It really paints a picture of protest as this incredibly complex tapestry, doesn't it? Legal rights, personal well-being, community impact, strategic action, they're all interwoven. It's so much more than just showing up with a sign.
Far more.
So here's something to think about. Given everything we've discussed, the deep history, the ongoing psychological weight, the legal tightropes, how might understanding both the legal and the mental health sides of protest reshape your engagement with civic action? Or maybe just how you perceive those who